Hey guys, it's Mark Rosetto here. I already stuffed up. There you go. It's Mark Rosetto here. Welcome to Walk the Talk webinar series. I have got Tere Green from Payright. Payright is an awesome finance solution, I would call it, to having clients who want everything but can't afford anything. And we've all got those clients that go, oh, I want this one. And it's like, it's $4,000. They're like, I can't afford that. And then they buy the smaller package. But there's two types of people in the world. Those who have money and keep it, and those who spend money before they've even got it. So what Payright is awesome for is for the clients who spend money before they've even got it. What we're doing, we're tapping into their future income because they know that they've got a job and they know they can make the payments of $20 a week or $45 a week or however much it is, depending on what system is, but Terry will go through that. But they just can't afford it right now. And the best part about it is this Payright, you only need 10%. Like, it's nothing. It's not like the old days where you needed 30% and 50%. You only need 10% of the order and payment up front, and then you can finance the rest. So something like this for $4,000, they only have to pay $400 to get started, and then you just finance the rest. And it's kind of like if you didn't have Payright, you wouldn't have got the $4,000 sale, and they might have just stuck to maybe $400 or $500. So to have something like Payright is amazing because you can really, gone off spotlight, is amazing because from there you can kind of go, well, it's money that I wouldn't have got in the first place. The other argument is that people go, well, but they take a percentage. 0% of $400 is $400 in your pocket. A couple of percent, Terry will go through it, of maybe 5%, 6%. How much percent, Terry? Whatever. Somewhere
it varies, yeah.
It varies. Somewhere around that percent. 5% of 4,000 means that you're still getting another $3,700 in your pocket. So it's not money that you've lost because you've gained a whole heap of other money. So don't be too fussed about the percentage. The old school systems, and we won't mention the names here, they used to take 20 to 25% of every sale, and that absolutely killed us. There's all your profits just gone. So I'm really excited to hear more about Payright. I've been using Payright for quite some time now. I think it's freaking rad. It's so awesome. There's no pens, there's no paper, there's no phone calls, 3-minute phone calls, there's no waiting for confirmation. It's all online. It's a freaking awesome system. And let me introduce you to Tere Green, and I'm going to pin your video. You are front and center and live. Go for it.
Thank you, Mark. You can't get a warmer introduction than that. And you've probably stolen my thunder. Some of this is what I want to go through in the next 20 minutes. And then we'll open up to questions. So it's really important for me that we start off probably identifying that, yes, there is a cost. You know, nothing in life is for free, unfortunately. However, this is a guaranteed return on investment, as Mark said. So you will only pay for this when you have settled or activated a plan. It's not like a marketing cost that you spend $5,000 out there in the wilderness and cross your fingers and hope that it comes back into you. It's a guaranteed return on investment. And I think that's why people give it a go or have a crack. And I think when you find you do have a crack, it actually works. You start to see happy customers and you're off and running. But let me just fiddle around with a little second. I'm going to share a presentation with you. Hopefully this is not death by PowerPoint, but as I get older, I do have to remember what I'm talking about, or else you could have me waffling on for quite some time.
They're used to me waffling on, so that's
We've got some of our Payright team on the phone as well, so they really wanted to jump in and have a look at photographers and hear the kinds of questions that you ask. So welcome to my team as well as to your team.
Who's on the team? Who is it?
I think we've got Jared, Chris, Martina. Can't see everybody, so
yeah. So I can see we have a Jared. Jared, can you put yourself on video, and Chris as well, because we want to put the names to faces to who we talk on the phone with. So be a part of the team, people.
Even if you're in your running gear, Chris.
Yes, which he probably is. He was in his running gear last time. So yeah, cool. All right, go
Wonderful.
for it.
Okay, so you can see a very happy lady on the screen at the moment. Myself as well as this young lady on the screen. We'll start off by saying what we do, which is zero interest payment plans. And I can take you through that in a little bit of detail. I love Payright and I love where we sit in the market. So once again, I could waffle on forever about this, but I'll just tell you a little bit of the history to put into context some of those things that Mark said about the high cost of other or previous financiers that you've had on board. So basically, back in the days, people accepted checks. You rushed off to work and you quickly got paid so that check wouldn't bounce. And then came credit cards. Don't ask me what year, but credit cards came along and people loved it. And what evolved from credit cards were the old interest-free facilities that sounded great. You had 12 months where you didn't pay any interest, and then lo and behold, you got stung with this massive big amount of interest at the end. And I think the stats were like 86% of people got charged interest because everyone intended to pay it out in time and no one did. A new wave of finance came in, the interest-free installments, where you make equal installments and never have any interest at the end of the interest-free period. And customers loved it. It was clean, it was easy, no hidden surprises, and everything was nice and upfront as we like things to be. So we've got a few of us playing in the market at the moment. Payright came into the market to be a really service-driven product. Service is a hard one to define, but we all know when we get great service. And I think part of that is dealing with humans at the end of the phone. I use the word finance sparingly because, to me, it's the F word. When my children say the F word, I don't like it very much. Let me see if I can move screens here. Okay, so yeah, basically we just provide quick, easy, interest-free payment plans. Nice and easy. We were founded in 2016, so that makes us maybe sound young. However, the whole fintech industry was founded sort of about 2015, so we are quite middle-aged by those standards. And when I say fintech, simply finance and technology coming together. So once again, historically, finance applications were cumbersome. They wanted to know the colour of your underwear and who your wife's cousin was married to. These days,
Can you just hold on 2 seconds? Who's making that noise? Oh, someone's outside and it's windy.
Oh, yeah. Or
Chris,
they've got a
you,
really bad cold and they're blowing their nose.
Yeah, that was Chris. Chris, I'm going to mute you. Sorry.
Thanks for that, Chris. So, technology came into the finance industry and applications, hallelujah, got a lot faster. We have a bit of a joke, actually, Chris and I, he can't refute this because he's on mute, but Chris and I have a joke. I can do an application in 2 or 3 minutes, so I say they take less than 3 minutes. But he's a man, sorry, Mark, and he takes a bit longer, so he thinks they take 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
Really quick and easy, which is huge for customers in terms of their experience. So what we've done is we've taken a product that we love and we've put some really passionate and motivated people into the team so that we're providing extra layers of service. We're trying to think outside of the box and we're trying to deliver to a market that, increasingly as we get online, I think we've lost touch with really good old-fashioned consultative sales.
Yeah. And do you know what I really love? I love it that Payright is that there's a face and a phone number that you can just call and you can tag you on Facebook. And it's actually like it's a real person, where in the past, dealing with finance was like dealing with a bank and it's just painful and you have to put in a ticket and then you have to wait for the response and it's a nightmare. So the fact that you can just you've got your phone numbers around in the different states and different people, it just makes it so much easier. So awesome. I love that.
Thank you. All right. Every time I go to turn a page, I have to find my mouse again. So we are about to change brands. We've, had a huge project thinking about what makes us important in the market. We believe that we're right for you and we want to prove that to you. We believe that we turn a maybe into a sale, that we turn browsers into buyers, and most importantly, we turn Payright or a finance company into an actual partner, which is really important.
Cool.
Alrighty, okay, so we're right where you need it. Payright helps you find a middle ground and offer payment plans that make purchases more affordable. So we're taking your product and breaking it down into tiny chunks so that it's more palatable to customers. And you may not know this about me, but I really do like my food. So one of the analogies, I say this to tradies and they get it straight away. So hopefully you guys will too. One of the analogies I use is when you're driving down the road and it's lunchtime and you're hungry and you decide you want a pie. There's always those days where the only thing that's going to satisfy you is a pie. And for me especially, it was my second son, the cravings that I had with him. So you're driving down the road and you have a pie. How many pies can you eat? 1, maybe 2, especially when you're pregnant. Jared, I reckon you could do 3. So there's only a certain amount of pies that you can take on board. But when you're all dressed up and you've gone out somewhere and they're doing those fancy little tiny pies.
Oh, drives you nuts.
How many of those can you eat?
Oh, like 6, 10?
At least 2,000. I love those pies. If there's some good old-fashioned tomato sauce on the side somewhere too, then I'm up to about 3,000. And that's all it's doing. It's breaking down into those little tiny mini pies so that people can consume more of them.
Oh, that's a good analogy, isn't it? Little cocktail pies.
The cocktail pies. Awesome. Okay, so there's ways that we can increase sales, and I guess every partner that you bring into your business, you're bringing into your business for a reason. And at the end of the day, it's however you say it, is it incremental sales? Is it happy customers? Is it less pain for you because you're getting more income into the business? Payright can help you increase your sales in 3 really significant ways. The first one, that's Chris again, sniffing. The first one is more traffic. So whether that be more foot traffic through your studio, more traffic to your website, more people chatting to you on social media, it's just generating a community where people are contacting your business more often or browsing at your business more often. Always a great thing and very hard to buy. So one of the ways that we do that, and I did this really, as you can probably see, a very simple PowerPoint presentation, but what I did here is simply Google photographer interest free and saw who jumped up on the top there. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 out of the top 6 have Payright mentioned when you're Googling them online, because they know that it won't detract any customers from coming to you, but it may attract a slightly different segment of customer. Those that are a little bit scared about how much it could cost them, those that really don't have the money but really do want a beautiful product, those that are looking for a bargain, all sorts of different kinds of customers. So it's about making sure that the leads that we're putting into your funnel are as big and robust and diverse as we can possibly make them.
Yeah, cool. That's very cool.
Okay, so that's one way. The second way is to close more sales, and close is sometimes a bit of a funny word, and I'm a very sales driven person, so I use this very sales driven language. For you, that just might be getting more people in your studio, behind your camera.
We say closing. We want a closing. Always be closing. ABC, always be closing.
Excellent. Okay, so yeah, basically close more sales, convert more of those leads into actual dollars for your business. And so what we find is when, the opportunity here is not the customers currently coming to your business and getting sessions. Okay, the biggest opportunity here is the customers that A, aren't approaching you. Hopefully we've addressed those with more traffic. And B, the ones that aren't purchasing from you. So you've spent your time and energy having a chat to them and it's a no, or it's a worse, maybe later. I'd rather get a quick hard no now than a maybe later, because you can waste even more time on those people.
Yeah. And the best part about that, when you are attracting those kind of people on the screen here, that any family that has small kids, generally one parent is working and one parent is not working, or pregnancy, they're going to step into a stage where they're not relying on a dual income anymore. So having finance like this, I found was just absolutely like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it was just a necessity to life, because these people can't afford to splash out on projects like this, but they can afford $20 a week. And that just makes it that the closing style, when I talk about closing, Tere, closing style called reduction to the ridiculous, that it was $2,000 and now it's only $20 a week. It's just like a life insurance at $1.50 a day.
Like another mini pie.
Yeah, it's just another mini pie. Now you got me hungry thinking about pie.
Awesome. So the opportunity for me is, so once again, getting back to basic sales, there's three main reasons why a customer doesn't buy, and the maybe customers or tire kickers, as we sometimes call them. The first one is that they don't like you, which is crazy. Take a look at yourselves. They're going to love you. And we do address that in rapport building, so that's fine. I'm sure you're all over that. The second one is that you can't match your product to their needs. You know, you take photos of ducks, they have cows. You can, you know, perhaps you can't match your product to their needs, or being a wedding photographer when you're taking pictures of babies. So that is something that you need to obviously address in when you're questioning it and pitching your product to them. The third reason, and of equal importance, is the fact that they can't afford it. You know, I went out last night, spent a bit too much money, didn't realize I was having this chat to you, and I simply can't afford it. Or the worst one, ladies, the husband doesn't really want me to spend this amount of money. Ooh.
You guys have all got a secret account. 90% of you, the amount of clients that we had that was like, use this card, he doesn't know about this one, is ridiculous.
The hide it from your husband trick.
Yeah. Yeah.
In saying that, I will segue and say that men spend more than women across the board in every vertical. They always spend a higher average transactional value. So where you can catch that man, he's going to spend a bit more, which is awesome.
Yes.
We're talking about the, you know, the 1/3 of the customers that don't buy from you do so because they can't afford it. Now, unfortunately, you know, culture in Australia today is such that we don't put up our hands and go, oh gosh, we blew all our money last week and we can't afford this. Or, oh, you know, I think I'm going to lose my job because I'm really crappy at it, so I can't afford this. So we have to make some assumptions sometimes. And one of the assumptions we need to make is that maybe they're not purchasing you from you because they can't afford it. And of course, that's exactly where Payright comes into play. You have a product that might be $2,000 or from $30 a week. Cool. So hopefully we're going to catch some more of those very diverse customers up there on the board.
That's great.
So we've done two things now to increase our sales. We've brought more traffic in, we've closed more of them, and the last thing to do is increase the average transactional value, or what I like to call it ATV.
I call it AVO, which is average order.
Hey, nice. I've called it ASP, average sale price, but regardless of what we call it, it's always awesome when you can lift it. Now, like any number, and you know, sometimes in finance, my friends think I'm the human calculator when we go out for dinner, but we're not that great. And you know, we use actual calculators in our game too. So often in finance, we find that if you don't focus on a number, you can't grow it. So if you don't know what your average transactional value is, you're not going to increase it.
And if you don't know what your average transaction is, I will personally come there and kick your butt because I harp on about it virtually.
You're recording this, so hold you to that, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, so the example that I've got on here is a package price at $2,698, some random number I just pulled out there, and I just wanted to show you that in fortnightly repayments. So most of our customers like to pay fortnightly, and I think they like to do that because it puts it into their budgets, and they get paid fortnightly. So the package price is $2,698, and the fortnightly repayment over 18 months is $63.34. So a lot of people might say, oh, that's a close, I've got a sale, happy days, $2,698, it's $13.50 over my ATV, and I'm winning. Mark is not going to drive to my house and kick my butt.
Yeah.
What a savvy salesperson will do is go, how much more can I get? So the example I've showed you here is by upselling. So you might have some, you know, beautiful frames that they can upgrade to. That's only going to be an extra $378. Now in package price, that's adding quite a lot. It's tipping the scale just over 3,000 there.
Yep.
But in Payright value, you can stretch the term out. So we go from 18 months to 24 months and decrease how much they're going to pay a fortnight. So they were happy to pay $63.34. They are now going to be paying $58.
Yeah. So that is the would you like fries with that scenario? And I did a Facebook Live on this only 2-3 days ago on exactly this. Like if you can get an extra $378 per client over your course of a year, how much extra money would you have in your pocket? Like it adds up very quickly. Ain't that right, Tracy? You're like, big breaths.
Awesome. So you don't always have to obviously increase the term to increase your sale. You can keep the same term, and it would step up. I don't know, I have the figures in front of me. Once again, I'm not quite the human calculator yet, but it might look like, you know, $69.34 a fortnight, that upsell. So you're basically saying for $5 more a fortnight, you know, that is not even a cup of coffee these days. We can, you know, put these beautiful frames around the images that you've selected.
Cool.
Nice. So that's you know, that's why we exist. That's why we're here. And when we talk about our merchant service fees, which is how much it's going to cost, this is why we're here. This is why people pay it. They pay it because they see incremental sales and it's worth it.
Cool.
Alrighty, so we specialise in consultative sales. We have processes that work really well when you're having conversations with customers, because they can be sort of hidden in, well, not hidden, but they can be, you know, ingrained into what you're saying. So when you have Payright as a sales tool up your sleeve, your conversations start to change. You start talking about those little mini gourmet pies a bit more.
Yeah.
And we're here to turn the no thanks into I'll take it. Okay, and here are some pretty special people from around the country. I just put a shout out to the team to ask them what they loved about Payright, because, you know, we're all different. We're not a team of finance bankers in our suits and ties. More often than not, you'll find us in our running shorts and yoga pants, really trying to make simple happen for you. So Chris, who is on the call but was sounding terrible, was on mute. He thought it was about price integrity. So, you know, you build a certain brand presence when you're a photographer, and you don't want to be the cheapest photographer on the block.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to maintain that brand integrity, and quite often the price of your product is associated with that brand integrity. So you don't want to be the rugs a million where you're on special every single day of the year. So make your photographs more affordable without sacrificing your asking price. So your recommended retail price and your pricing packages, you don't need to discount on those when you have Payright. If someone can't afford it, you can spread it over 12 months for them.
That's awesome.
Cool. And I'm just trying to move this down a little bit. Okay, so we've got Ashby. Ashby is our business growth manager sitting in Melbourne, and I'm sure a lot of you would have talked to Ashby before. His was about cash flow, and I do laugh and smile to myself because he does talk about this a lot. So he wanted you to remember that Payright helps with your business cash flow. And I think we alluded to that earlier, Mark, when we said, you know, getting the cash up front same day, no trickles out over a certain amount of time. No time spent on the awful phone calls, you know, the ones where you're saying, come on, you paid me $50 last month, but you haven't paid me anything this month.
Yeah.
We're salespeople, we're photographers, we're not built for that.
Yeah.
Cool. So settlement the same day, straight into your bank account. Thank you. Next. And then Emma, who's also in Sydney, she said to know your dollars. So know your mini pies. For regular packages, know that the Payright repayment off the top of your head. So if you're consistently selling at an ATV of $3,000, know exactly what that is in terms of repayments. And that way, when you're selling, it's nice and natural, and you're using the upselling tools up your sleeve. Now, Joss, she said, integrate it into your processes, and I really do love this one. So, you know, for me, it's about planting the seed with anything. If I told you today that, you know, I'm going, or actually, if my husband got home from work and I told him that I was going to buy a Ferrari, he would be in shock, and he would more than likely say, no, I don't think we should do that. However, if I said to him last month, I'm thinking about a new car, you know, I think it could be red. I'm really into red at the moment. I've planted the seed in his mind that I'm going to make a change. I, you know, accidentally leave magazines out with a Ferrari on them over the month's course. And then he comes home from work today and I say, honey, I want to buy a red Ferrari. He's much more likely to say, you know what, I think, you know, I've been thinking the same thing, and let's go out and go shopping. Hopefully, let's see how we go. So it's the same with Payright. If you get to the end of your sale and the customer goes, oh, you know, that's a little bit expensive, or it's more than what I wanted to pay today, or I've got to go home and, you know, speak to my husband, which is really just a delaying tactic, then that's on you. what you could have done is introduce Payright early. So before I start, I'll just let you know that we've got loads of payment options and you don't have to worry. Of course, you can pay me up front. I take, Visa and MasterCard, and I've got Payright that will help you spread it out over a period of time, interest-free. It's all you have to say, and then you can work through the consultation as you normally would and get to the end and reintroduce Payright if it's something that they want. Cool. So as early as possible, and the seed is planted. The second thing I like about that Joss hasn't said is it helps you to control the sale. So control, for good salespeople, control is absolutely paramount. You don't want a customer talking about the price of your goods before you're ready to talk about the price of your goods. So one thing that you can do here is if you've got a customer and you're halfway through your session and they're talking about the price, then you can say, it's okay, we can look after you from just, less than $50 a week. We'll talk about that at the end. And it's a good delaying tactic. You've addressed the question, but you haven't been forced into talking about price and packages before you're ready. Cool. And the last one, Cameron, which I absolutely love, is certainly give it a go. Give it a crack. Our whole business was built on the give it a go philosophy. Certainly give it a crack. I'm just trying to madly, if you can see me moving my hand. Mark, do you want to read out what Cameron says? Because I can't read it.
Cam, you can't break the online application. It takes less than 5 minutes and is simply data entry. Jump on a regular Zoom training if you need to brush up. Excellent.
And that's it. Give it a crack. We do twice weekly trainings on our application portal where they will go through all sort of the ins and outs of Payright and train you up properly to use the product. It's a really easy product to use. We've got several different processes if you don't like being online. So jump on that, register and jump on a Zoom session and have a look at that if you're not comfortable. Do it 3 or 4 times until you're absolutely comfortable, because like any sales tool, you wouldn't buy a new camera and not practice with it. You wouldn't walk straight into your first session, pull out a brand new camera, unwrap all the packaging and start taking photos. So please don't do that with Payright.
Cool.
Okie dokie. And I guess this page for me was about not taking my word for it. The product is working really well in your industry. We literally have hundreds of photographers on board and we get really amazing feedback, if I'm completely honest. And one of the biggest words used has been game changer.
Yep.
So when Jade here says that introducing Payright has been an absolute game changer in her business, she's absolutely not alone. And these are her exact words, which do highlight things like increasing her average sale. So she went from a previous ATV of $800 up to $1,800.
And the best part about Jade, I spoke to Jade recently. She started out as a photographer not too long ago. It was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. She did the Master Your Marketing course. This is where she was introduced to Payright a year ago. And then we worked out that if 10% is $180, that's easy. Anyone can afford $180. And then from there and finance the rest. So we created her prices regarding around that $180, because it's not $200. $180 is a price of a weekly kind of shopping for kind of groceries, depending on the size of your kind of family. So it's easy to spend $180. It's harder to spend 400 or 500, but 180, you don't really have to ask your partner about 180 because that's what you'd normally spend at the kind of local supermarket or something. And her average has just gone ballistic. She's amazing. A lot of people know Jade on this call, so.
Oh, excellent. And that's quite an old testimonial, so that may have even increased since then. I also love the fact that she said it brought multiple clients through her door. And one of the things I really love about this testimonial, and I do use it a lot because of this, is that she really summed it up quite nicely, saying that her clients now go home with the products they truly love.
Yeah.
So when you're shopping to a budget, you all know what that's like. It's never nice, but when you don't, those budgets, constraints are released and you're purchasing what you really want, then you're much happier. You're the perfect consumer going home with products that you truly love.
Yeah.
So Jade's really enjoying the facility as well. And here's a little sneak peek. On Monday, the 27th, which is next Monday, we are releasing a new brand. So gone is the blue. We won't be so bank-like and financy, and you get a sneak peek, which is actually a really big peek of the colours and the styling that we're going to be using. So for photographers who are probably very visual, those colours are aubergine to raspberry and everything in between. And we're really excited to be presenting that to the market on Monday.
Cool. So exciting. Cool. All right.
The questions, shall we go?
Yeah, cool. Well, I've got a few things to add.
Great.
Things to add with this just before. I might keep the recording going because normally we press pause at this stage, but we're going to keep this one going for this. What I would love to show you is I need to spotlight myself for a second here. Where do I cancel spotlight? I just need to spotlight video. Okay, so, oops. Oh, come on, work with me, computer. Spotlight, cancel spotlight. All right, you need to stop sharing your screen. That's why it's not working for me. Wait, stop participant sharing. Oh, and Tracy, you're spotlighted. Spotlight video. Okay, cool. All right, what you can do, just Tere was talking about tools and getting tools to educate your clients and educate people and things. What we used to have with our tools is on the website, we also had the Payright, the finance, and we actually had that product start at only $32 a week or something like that, so people knew it on the website. But then we talked about the price list, and I had to use a little sticker here, right? When we talked about the price list, what we actually did was we created, now this is not the Payright conversion table because this is 15%. We created a little kind of table here, right? That if you look at this, $3,000 was zero interest for this finance company. Oh, I'm going blurry. Come on, focus. And realize that it's $39 over 12 months, but for $1,500, it was $44 over 6 months. So what we can do is create a table just like this to have on our price list so clients can just visually see it straight away. They know how much it is. Because we've got some parameters to play with, like Tere was kind of saying, that you can go 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and all of a sudden, it's all at that same price, but the value is so much higher. It's just that the client pays it off over time more. So that table, the amount of people that came in to us and said, so we need to spend $3,000 and over, yeah? And we were like, yes. To do finance at 0% for this table? Yes, you did. And they're like, great, what can we get for $3,000? Awesome. Imagine your clients doing that all the time. That'd be so much more fun. So as a tool, that table was really awesome. And then for the products, when it comes to wall collections, it's not on this one here, but the wall collections here that had the price, we used to have like $24 a week. With the products, so people know how much those products are as well if they did it on a finance system as well. So Tere, do you have those tools and tables and charts that we can use?
We can create whatever you'd like. We also have an online calculator, so when you log into your portal, you can put exactly in what you want and it will spit out the repayments for you. Those repayments do include all the fees and charges that would be charged to a customer. So I just noticed a message popping up asking about customer fees and charges, and yes, we do charge some small fees and charges. Very palatable to customers. They're very used to paying these. An establishment fee of up to $59.90, depending what term you use, a monthly account keeping fee of $3.50, and a payment processing fee of just $2.95. But when you are quoting your customer, you'll be quoting all of those inclusive.
Very cool. I'm going to read out the questions here because we're going to record this so that you can use it for more. So your face is it. All right. So just letting you know. Okay. So questions. How does the process work if you have an unhappy client who wants a refund? Oh, that sounds weird. And they have paid via Payright. Is it up to me, the photographer, to decide if they are refunded, or is it more likely PayPal who decides?
Okay. So it's tragic when you have an unhappy customer. We basically work off your refund policy. So if a customer calls us and they're unhappy with your work, we will send them back to you.
Cool. Now let's just try not to have unhappy clients.
Yeah. And if you decide that, you want to refund for whatever reason, we'll do a complete transaction reverse and no one will pay any fees or charges.
That is awesome. What a cool service that is. Very cool. There's not many questions, I think now. I was hoping someone was going to ask this. Just saying, this would be such a game changer in New Zealand. We have nothing like that over here.
Alrighty, drum roll. I don't have a date for you. I'm sorry, my fellow Kiwis, but we will be there. And we will be there soon.
So there you go, Sarah. Payright is going
weeks rather than months.
Yeah, cool. Payright will be in New Zealand. So for those New Zealand Kiwis over there that have nothing, they've got crappy finances over there, this will be massive for you guys. And don't worry, we're going to drum it out. We're going to roll it out in a huge way. So I'm so glad that you didn't keep that a secret. I was busting not to say something. Anyway, so Michelle, so do we get paid when our clients get paid each time? Do the client need to pay a higher price in total because the payment is split?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Okay, so you get paid upfront as soon as the plan starts. So you get paid 100% upfront. Okay, less any merchant service fees charged. Now, in some businesses, they would increase their sale price because there are those merchant service fees. It's misleading under the Sales Act to do that. So you can start at a higher recommended retail price. You can discount for cash, of course, but you need to stick to your recommended retail price as such when you're using an interest-free facility, any interest-free facility, because that's what you're advertising, those prices. You guys can work a little bit differently because you're putting your packages together a little bit differently, but do make sure that there's room, gross profit room in your price lists.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So the main part with this, which Tere just skimmed over, but I think is awesome, is that when the client in the design appointment does their payment of 10% and fills out the form in front of you, not when they're going home, in front of you, it takes like 5 minutes because I'm a man, you get paid the next day, not a drips and drabs. Now, some people, they like the drips and drabs. They like having that cash flow over time. Me, in my business, I just wanted to be paid up front. So I love it getting just paid up front in the one sum. That means you can pay for your products, pay for your cost of goods. You don't have to follow up. You don't have to chase. It's absolutely rad. Cool. Are there any fees at all to the client? Application fees, admin fees, and so on?
Yep, we covered those off. In terms, I've seen people asking about merchant service fees too. I was just madly trying to bring them up. I'm not hiding them from you on purpose, but they're varied basically. So we can send you all, and I'll send you all after this, exactly what the merchant service fees are.
Cool. Great. Awesome. This may be covered already as I was late. Why is the 10% payable upfront to me and not included in the schedule, Natasha?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's probably more of an underwriting kind of question. So, we're lending money. Your product is beautiful sessions and prints and images. Our product is money. So the more you lend and the longer you lend it for, the higher our risk is of actually getting it back. Part of mitigating that risk is taking a deposit. So if a customer can afford a 10% deposit, they're more likely to then be able to afford the repayments.
So Tash, did that answer your question?
Kind of.
Ask the question in a different way.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute.
No, that's fine. You're unmuted. Just talk.
Oh, unmuted me. Okay. Yeah, it's just because I have to put through 2 separate invoices for them. So the one invoice to me for that 10%, and then the rest of it to cover off your part for the other 90%. And a few people sort of said, "Oh, so I need to pay this part today." It just, I've had a few clients just kind of look at me sideways and go, "So I'll pay you today, and then this starts in a couple of weeks."
We can change your facility. It should be one facility and one invoice. So we can take...
No, for my end, because I invoice them with my invoice number and stuff.
Can I jump in there? Because I've got your answers. So Tash, it's just take the 10% on the invoice, get it paid straight away, and the rest is on finance. And you'll just have to do it. Sorry, let me start again. in your Studio Ninja, because I know where you're going here, in your Studio Ninja, do the one invoice, right?
Yeah.
Do the 10% kind of charge, all right, which is the 10% of what it is on the one invoice.
Yeah.
Then do your finance from Payright, which will just automatically just work in the background. The next kind of day, you'll get paid from Payright, go back into your invoice, and you do a payment was taken on this particular date.
Yeah.
So it's on the
Then
one.
so what happens for me as well is that when they pay through PayPal and Payright, I've got 2 sets of fees that I then have to go and split out. And it's because I do my
Tash, I have got some good news for you. We can change your facility so that we take the deposit on your behalf, so it is one transaction.
So I could just do the one transaction in one go.
Yeah. Could you send me a little note after this to remind me, and we'll get that changed? We can do that ASAP. Takes 5 seconds.
Yeah, so that they just get the one repayment, and it's just something that's come up a couple of times. They've just sort of said, oh, so yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
Is my next question the next in line anyway?
Go for it, Tash. Just go for it.
So the other issue I've had is I have had probably 3 or 4 families declined because the mum is on maternity leave, and then so there's some that I say to them, it's probably going to decline because you're on maternity leave. And the mum, the most recent one, she was in the job longer than the husband. They had a joint account. She had a higher income than him, and she was declined and he was accepted. Is there something going to be going on at the back end to maybe...
Yeah, I don't like this one. I've worked for a lot of finance companies. It's across the board in all finance companies. When a lady is on maternity leave, they're not deemed to be having any income. So our calculations, as a responsible lender, we must make sure that the customer can afford the repayment. And we do, because we're so streamlined, we have to do income versus outgoings. Is there going to be any money left over for our repayment? And unfortunately, when they're on maternity leave, it's counted as no income.
Right, even though because when they're on maternity leave, they do have 2 incomes. They've got one from the company and one from the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I guess if they're still getting a income from their company, then that is income. So I would be putting that in the income box.
But yeah, I don't know. I've had that happen probably about 3 or 4 times with newborn maternity clients that they have been declined, and then they put their husbands through, and it's exactly the same accounts and everything. And then the husband gets
it shouldn't be the case. I mean, we do a really simple capacity calculation. So
and that's what I tell
be the case. If you want to bring them up with me offline, I'll be able to look them up and see if there weren't other reasons. So the 2 biggest reasons for default for declines, one would be their credit file, and the second one would be they don't have enough money to make the repayments. So I can't sort of take a stab in the dark and guess at those ones, but I'd be happy to look them up and give you some feedback.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just wanted to see if that was something that was going to be reviewed, or if I just have to keep saying to women, as much as it kills me as a feminist, I'm sorry, but you will be like...
Oh, I'm with your sister. Yep, I absolutely agree. Yep, when I first came into finance, I made a song and dance about that exact same thing, but...
It's just a blanket, isn't it? It's a blanket. I remember, just to make you feel better, Tash.
It's not a person.
When we went to buy a house, we looked for so long to buy a house from the finance, and we could borrow back then like $800,000, and we're like, we can buy whatever house you feel like. And then we took so long to find a house that by the time we found a house, the baby was born. And all of a sudden, our finance company went, oh, no, sorry, your baby's now technically born. Your lending has been cut down by half. And we were like, but nothing's changed. Yep, sucks. But anyway, all right. Moving along, there's 2 more questions. To confirm, if there is a refund situation, everything is refunded, even all admin fees, application fees, and so on. So if we can still we can still sell it as a risk, as a no risk, as all is refunded if unhappy.
That's completely up to your company policies, but yes, we will refund like that if you ask us to.
Yeah, cool. Wow, that's amazing. Awesome. I missed it earlier. What are the fees that are being incurred by Payright, like merchant fees? All right, this question is going to go around in circles lots of times. Tere, how do we get in contact with you? How do we set the application? Because every situation is different and everyone's different, and you calculate fees and everything on every circumstances. there's like 100 combinations, thousands of combinations. How do we get in contact with you? How do we apply? Where do we go?
Absolutely. So just, give us a call, send me an email, contact Mark. He can forward things on, jump on Facebook. Any way you want to get in contact with me. After this call, I'll send you what you need to come on board if you're not already on board, and we can go from there.
Yeah, cool. So really it's just it's just get in contact, application process, easy as that.
It does take a week to 2 weeks to get set up. We are being slammed, which is a great thing, but just please be patient with us. It's not a quick thing. We need to do our due diligence on your company as well.
Yeah, cool. Fantastic. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for that. That is totally awesome, Tere. I'm going to stop the recording there.